I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to Monday morning's meeting. To pull up. Has everybody had a chance to look at the agenda?
Make a motion to approve.
All right, we got it first. Do I have a second?
Second.
First and second. All in favor?
All right.
Motion carries. All right. Approve minutes from September 30th, 2024, regular meeting, and the work session that was October 3rd of 2024.
So moved.
Second.
First and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Approved claims filed with the county auditor for $557,054.10.
Motion.
I have a
Go
little
ahead.
input on that. Secondary roads has, well, most departments at least, their copiers. I'm not sure what happened, but there's absolutely nothing per code that we can do about it. But I did speak with Elizabeth, and this will be a write-up on our audit. We are paying $77.99 in late fees.
On.
Credit card?
No.
On this lease agreement with the copier.
And I think that was a problem before, if I remember right, like when we switched over.
No,
Wasn't it?
this has been going on since May. They've had the copier for a while.
Oh, it's secondary roads copier?
Yes.
And is
Like
that,
that, Brian?
Not really, I can't, because I wasn't even sure what it was, I saw the email, but your email didn't say what was your relationship to.
Late fees on your leased copier.
Okay, and I didn't catch the least copier, it was late fees is what I saw. And I don't know why, when we get the bill, we submit it.
Obviously, something's happening. So I'm assuming this comes online. So there's no reason why it should be late because the other departments don't have this problem. I don't know.
Yeah.
But this will be a write-up on our audit.
That's not true.
is this,
Access systems,
okay, and is this,
Not who we deal with on.
the majority of our departments, yes.
is that something, is that a lease that, IT set up?
Mhm.
I wonder if they can reach out
Can I
to.
interject? I
Yes.
went through this a couple months ago. When I tried buying this out of our lease, we cannot buy it the lease till, it's not, the lease is up in 2025, 2027. But you can request, I ended up getting our net terms to 60 days. So right now, I think the net terms are 15 days.
I don't know. I didn't sign these contracts.
Because remember, I asked you about that, Don?
I know,
We're talking about.
My department doesn't have a problem with it. We get it, we pay it, and we don't get late fees. So I don't know. I don't know. I would assume the terms for the contracts are similar. I don't know. I don't sign the contracts.
Apparently they're not, because if you're not getting them, and then I know we had out of emergency management, they were having a problem, so they called up and they got those.
Yeah, but the problem is with the county paying late fees, we can't prove that this serves a public purpose.
Oh, I understand that. Brian, can you get on the phone with that lease, that copier company and see if you can't go to the
I'll have
next
to
60?
run through Chris, because I don't even know if I've got a count.
I would get a hold of Jason.
I'd go through Jason.
I would
I've
include
only had
Janet,
five
and she's the
stars.
one that pays these bills.
Yeah, and then do the same thing that you're doing, is get that 15 days changed, because if they're saying 15 days in the invoices and we pay every 2 weeks, there's
Problem.
a problem.
So what did you have, was you presented with a late fee and then you got that rescinded?
Yes.
Usually,
Well, maybe we do the same thing with you then.
they tried.
Who tried? Who's A?
This one's. So there was late fees waived in February, March, and April.
So this is an ongoing.
We are paying late fees this time for May, June, and July.
No.
Get with Jason,
If I'm
get with
putting it in my
IT and
notes.
see if you can't do something about this and get them to change the terms to net 60. We're a government agency. We have all of their we have their equipment, we have their leads in several different departments, so that should carry some weight.
So then that's 60.
Was happier when we were just buying a machine,
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
not messing with this.
Okay, well, motion on approving,
All right,
Second.
the first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approve employee claims filed with the county auditor in the amount of $363.58.
so move.
Second.
The first and the second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Approve the hiring of Dan Dutler, Public Health Department as SA6 Coordinator, effective October 7th, 2024 at $33 per hour.
So moved.
Second.
Do I have any discussion on this? Is there anybody that wants to speak on it? Okay.
Would be a good addition.
I believe you will be, yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Approve monthly report from the recorder's office in the amount of $13,462.10.
Motion to approve.
Second.
First and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Approve monthly report from the sheriff's weapons permit in the amount of $131.82.
So moved.
Second.
First and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Approve the appointment to the Veterans Commission. Clayton, you were working on this. Do you want to give us some history here?
Yeah, I'd, did some research and it's been brought up at Legion, meetings and throughout the county and stuff. If anybody was interested to get their application in. The new commander of, the Legion here in Independence Post, 30, Miss Canfield, Julie Canfield. I have witnessed that she's been very passionate about getting things, doing things and working with veterans, and she's highly respected, so they voted her in as commander of the American Legion post. That's got something to say about her also. She'd fill out an application and, reached out to Julie and, down there, Patty, and they said that she meets all the qualifications and stuff, so I make a motion that we appoint her for that position to the Veterans Commission to the county.
I second that.
Or first and second, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Approve, the burn ban proclamation. I know we already put a ban into effect, but this is the official proclamation.
I'd make a motion to approve.
Anyone first?
I'll second.
And second, any further discussion?
Further discussion, you said that those other two fire chiefs finally reached out to you that you never got initial response from.
No, I had, I was called by, Bosque Fire Chief to put the burn ban in effect. I put an email out to all the fire chiefs. 9 responded back with yes, and 2 did not respond back at all, being Jessup and Stan. So our policy has always been the majority wins. So that's when we did the emergency proclamation, and I forwarded through this environment with paperwork going. I spoke with Chris and had she put it on the agenda for today. So it was 9 out of 11 voted yes to put the ban. But
Well, thank you for getting that done.
no problem.
Is there
Yes.
any further discussion? So I have a first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Approve minor plat for Jeff Nichols. Amber, you want to bring us up to speed on this one? Slide over, Clayton. Good thing you take a bath.
Yeah.
Peter's a little slow, so bear with me.
Pretty picture.
That's good. Hey, clever. I'm down by my place because I don't have a mountain.
So this has been a while since it's been rezoned, so I'll just kind of backtrack a little bit if that's okay first.
Sure.
So this was rezoned, August 2nd of 23 to R3 residential. That passed with a 9-0 vote with the Planning and Zoning Commission. And then, sorry, I should note with a condition, so there was a condition on this rezoning that the newly established parcel can only be split one more time and limited to 2 single-family dwellings now or in the future. Then that was passed by the Board of Supervisors on September 25th of 2023 with a 3-0 vote. With Jeff Nischel, the applicant, signing the resolution agreeing with that condition that was put in place. So now we're just kind of on to the minor plat part of things. This one did take a while. Some of you may know the owner was Craig Schutte and he has passed since that rezoning took place. So that did kind of delay things a little bit. So I will just kind of note, so this is in 2 different sections and townships. So the north portion there, it's really hard to tell, but it consists of 2.23 acres. And then the south portion consists of 1.40 acres for a total of 3.63. There is do this one. So, I'll note on that driveway easement there, that has already been a signed agreement. And I do have that if anybody would like to take a look at that. So essentially, so as you can tell, this is kind of where that driveway easement will go, and then they'll just kind of drive back all the way up to, their intentions were to build up a house right up in through there. And then in the future, if they ever wanted to parcel that off, then they would still have their driveway back there with another house and be building somewhere up in there.
Is there a road on the backside of that?
There is not. Nope. So this is just on Benson Shady Grove.
So that driveway easement's gonna be going to that red
It will
line?
go, kind of hard to tell. So this little jog right here in this little section actually belongs to this individual. She knows this family and was willing to give them easement to her property. So the situation that this came about was the setback distance for hers wasn't per our zoning ordinance, so then therefore she had purchased additional land to get her where she needed to be. And so now that driveway easement will just take place.
Is this any of this in floodplain?
There is a tiny portion of it that does not touch where they will be building.
Okay.
So therefore, we would not request a base flood elevation certificate since they will remain out of it. And that was part of the issue too, why we couldn't take the driveway farther north, was because it really just drops off down there. And with it being in the flood area, makes it a little hard.
Oh, these floodplains, are these based on the 100-year?
100-year and 500. So the yellow is the 100, and then the 5 little tiny portion there is the 500-year floodplain.
Looks like a nice secluded area back in the back here.
Yes, it is.
So I was thinking it's a lot.
Okay, so there's been anything from any of the neighbors
Nope,
opposing this or anything?
nope, nope.
I make a motion to go ahead and approve this.
I'll second that.
First and second, all in favor?
Uh,
Aye. Motion carries. All right. Let's see if I can do this next item without it slaughtering anybody's name. Place on file the following manure management plans. Primo Pork West LLC, Buffalo Township, Section 4, Primo Pork East LLC, Buffalo Township, Section 10. McKinley Swine LLC, Homer Township, Section 35. J&K Farms, Perry Township, Section 36.
Make a motion, to put those on file.
Second?
In a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, set public hearings for Josh Weber zoning request.
I got a date of 8/21 at 9:15
8/21.
or 10/21, sorry,
Going back in time.
at 9.
9:15, yes.
Anybody want to make a motion to set the public hearing
I
for?
will make a motion, to set a public hearing on that time and dates.
I'll second.
First and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Discuss HVAC systems maintenance. Clayton, this is yours.
Okay, we brought this up before that I was gonna go ahead and reach out to some contractors. But because of the amount of buildings, that we're gonna be servicing the HVA system in, there's 4 different locations. This could wind up being, we don't know what the cost is gonna be to do this servicing, twice a year. I would, got to be thinking this idea that maybe we should publicize and advertise to give everybody equal opportunity to bid on this from anybody that can provide this inspection and service in the county. Pretty much the same as that we do for lawn mowing, mowing of the Pioneer Cemetery, snow removal. We advertise every so often for that, and where this is gonna be probably being looked at by the board as an ongoing service that needs to be done. I just want to make sure that I wouldn't miss out, me to find out and figure out everybody else, who does this type of service. I thought maybe by putting it on our website and advertising the paper, we could touch base with all those individuals and, give them the opportunity to bid on this service.
Now, when you're talking, the maintenance, are you just talking for them to come in once or twice a year to check it? Because I know like the senior center, the seniors are replacing the filters every 3 or 4 months. And I got them set up to buy them through Menards with, and I gave Menards one of the tax certificates, so we could purchase.
We could,
At a lesser
go
rate.
with either option. I did talk to one, major, contractor who does this type of work. And I says, when you bid on something like this, would you be right with the county buying some filters, and then you installing them? And he says it wouldn't make no difference to me because he says there's not a markup in filters for them anyway.
I mean, I guess I don't understand why, if we have people that are already changing the filters out, why we would have to have people
Well,
go in and change the filters out. I
They
change
do
it at home.
clean like condensers and
I
evaporators.
understand. I understand.
Yeah.
But I think along with that service, they're gonna wanna check all the condition and I figured by them coming in, it doesn't take long. It wouldn't be, I can't see anything where it'd be a cost for them to pull a filter out and replace the filter. They're not gonna charge a lot of labor for that. But when they're in there servicing pre-cooling and pre-heating seasons, just to go ahead and do that, because they're gonna wanna look at it anyway. They're gonna have to pull the filter out, because that's part of the inspection and service, making sure they got a clean, clear filter. So if they're pulling out and have a new one there, just, it's not gonna be any more work to stick the new one in, and that way they know it's been done.
Well, and they clean the, like igniters with the furnace and all that type of
Yeah.
thing. I have it done twice a year at my house.
Yeah.
Well, I understand preventative maintenance. I'm just saying that the filter replacements in between times, I think we could probably handle ourselves.
Well, between, yeah, if them filters need to be changed more than twice a year, yes, then if somebody for the senior center wants to maybe change them out 4 times a year, that's more than fine, just to make sure that it's being done when that inspection and service.
It increases the efficiency of them too. If you
Oh, right.
break on it.
Yeah, and it could save freezing up the A coil, a plugged filter could freeze up in the A coil, then you got problems.
Okay, I have a question here since I got Brian here. Brian, now are you making sure that all your secondary roads stuff is maintained as far as the buildings or HVAC systems?
What we have in the outside buildings is radiant heat. And actually, that's what's in large area here in Independence. And,
No filter.
there's no filters in those systems.
Okay,
So the only one that really has filters is the front office. And that's been an issue one other time because we didn't even know there was a filter that existed in the one area until we had problems with it. It was well hidden.
okay, so,
And so now are they being changed? Yes.
okay, and in all of our, because I know we don't have radiant heat in all of our
The only
sheds,
others
Glen
are,
Pulaski.
the only place I don't have radiant heat is the front office for us up here.
But what about all your outbuildings, like the shop in Pulaski, the shop in Jessup, the shop, like all of those?
That's an Altori back radiant heat system with no filters.
Okay,
It's infrared, if that's the right term.
Right.
So they've got the tubes up on top and that puts the heat down. There's no filters in that entire system.
okay, so there's
The only
nothing
thing is,
to,
one thing you gotta be concerned on that is that the blue system doesn't become plugged by bees, birds and stuff like that. And if it, normally in something like that, if it does become plugged, the pressure switch will not make it, and won't let the burner come on.
We've never had any problems with any of those other than their age. Because we've been putting them in for about 30 years. And so we've got some systems out there that are 30 years old.
those are nice systems.
It works excellent. Prior to that was the old LB white hanging heaters type thing. This is a far more efficient system.
Radiant heat heats the objects, not the air.
And so which four buildings are we talking about then, Clayton?
We would be talking about the HS area, public health area, EOC system,
Senior center.
and a senior center.
What about the, if we're gonna be in that building, what about the food pantry system? Are they? I mean, it's still something, their coils are gonna need to be cleaned one way or another, because it's still our building.
We could do that right now. Senior center's always been portioning out their own foils and doing that.
They did it when they had a maintenance person there, he's sick and he's no longer there.
Okay. We could include that, because there again, it's our building.
And the food pantry side of DHS,
Yeah. So we're talking 5 different areas that have to be listed on there that we're soliciting bids for inspecting and servicing the HVAC systems in these buildings and areas. Presently, I think EOC has been working with a contractor out there, a nurse. But,
Or still under warranty. So they came back out to do something, so they took care of it. As they were there.
I think it makes sense to advertise for it because you're always gonna create hard feelings among contractors if you
miss them.
miss somebody. At least they have the opportunity to bid on it,
Mhm.
and we still have the right to accept the lowest, most appropriate.
Right. And I would, I'd be more than willing to have, and that, for people to reach out to me, and I'll take them out for the site visits after they reach out to me, and I got a list of things, and this is pretty, generic. When companies do this, they know what they need to do. I've got a list of things that I would want looked at. They're supposed to check the burners, the coils, clean the coils, checks for anything that's wrong with the flue system, any leakage that could happen, anything that affects the efficiency and safety of the operation of the units. So, I've got a list on there and I can, get that, because we do have an agreement with them, that stuff's gonna have to be listed on there, that this is a service that they provide.
What would be the length of the contract? Have we
Well-
thought about that?
What we do lawn mowing and stuff like that on a yearly basis with the option of renewing. Correct, Chris?
I'm just thinking, would be better to go a little longer term contract since they're only performing the service twice a year.
I'm more than good with that.
Like
We
a
could do it 2 or 3
contract,
years.
something like that. I don't know, just thought.
that ain't got any complications with you, Chris? Whether we do a 1 or 3 or whatever.
No. Just need to know specifics of what you want in the ad before, because I'm not an HVAC person.
Yeah, so. I've got a list of things I thought maybe, and I don't keep them on file, the lawn mowing and the snow removal thing, if we could use that for the basic template, and then we could take out what is done there and add.
I can send you a copy, that's not a
And
problem.
then I can just scratch that service thing and put in the other things.
Yep.
Do you have a motion?
I make a motion, we proceed with drawing up a contract and the ad for maintenance on the HVAC
For how long?
for a 3-year period.
I'll second.
First and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, next up is discuss custodian uniforms. And, Chris has a couple of good things to note on this one. That if we do purchase shirts, we need to create a general letter number specific to uniforms. For the janitorial staff, and, we'll have to do a budget amendment. There is also, we'll probably need to put in place a policy of some sort regarding how often they get the shirts replaced, and we do have, other departments have uniform allowances for employees, so we need to clarify if these are gonna be uniform allowances or if they come to us to replace them. And that the shirts stay here upon the employee leaving.
Are they required to take them home and do their own laundry or?
Yes. I'm not a laundry service.
Well, a lot of you can buy uniforms through different, like city or something. What they do is they cycle them, they'll pick them up and then bring them back when they're clean and stuff. So this is something we're just gonna, you're looking at just purchasing, and then they will do their own laundering of them.
Yeah, that's how county conservation does it.
Okay,
You don't want to get into a uniform contract.
no,
Trust me. Been there.
Running very hard to get away from that one.
It's expensive.
Yeah, I reached
so
out
the
to,
policy, you'll be working with Karen then to draw the policy?
sure.
Okay.
And I did have 2 quotes. I had one from Creative Impact for 10 polos with embroidery. That'd be $302.20. Unless it's the county, then there's no tax. And then through Designs Unlimited in Winthrop, it's $20 a polo, and for the 3X it's $23. So I did the math. It was $215.
So a little better deal.
A little better deal going through Designs Unlimited, yes. In Winthrop.
And that includes the embroidering, what they need to do on there.
Yep. Sure does.
Are they gonna have a pocket on them or not?
They have a pocket on one side and the embroidery will be on the other side.
Okay.
This way they can have a place for a notepad and a pen.
Yeah, because we didn't budget anything, I guess we want to do an amend on that.
And the one I priced out, I was actually talked to Designs Unlimited and she kind of helped me with this. It's a jersey spot shield, 5.4 ounce jersey knit sport shirt with a pocket. 50/50 cotton polyester, pre-shrunk, stain resistant finish. Repels water and most oil-based spills. It's tag free. The collar resists curling. And a 2-button pocket with bottom box reinforcement. Pearlized buttons. Double needle sleeves, hems, and yeah, and I went with navy because I thought the darker color would be better.
In that policy, when you write it up, I would make sure that then if we're gonna go through all this, that they're required to wear.
What's the embroidery gonna say on just Buchanan County?
Buchanan County maintenance staff.
Hey, make a motion to have Dawn proceed with getting with Karen and working on the policy and we'll, figure out where to grab the money for.
I'll second.
The first and second, all in favor?
All right.
Aye. Motion carries. Right, we're gonna have professional staff, yes. I have purchase of rental disc. I'm assuming, Brian, this is yours?
That is me, correct. And the subject is, we rented a disc this fall to incorporate materials for base stabilizations.
Okay,
And we checked, we're going through CAD or Gear. Or actually, it was one of the other rental places. They wanted 3,500 to rent one. And Dustin Zeezer had one. He said he'd rent it to us for the whole fall for 2,500. The other was per month.
Okay.
And it worked great for us. So we asked him what he wanted if we were to purchase it, and he says 5,000 total. In other words, if I rent it again next year, I'd have as much money into it as if I buy it today. It's, how did we come up with numbers? First of all, it was 3,500 to rent it for a month. From the other rental agencies, from him, it was 25. I asked Tom Hunt to check and see what they typically sell for. He says 5,000-6,000. And so purchasing this one for 5 looked like a good answer. He said he was comfortable with that. The discs are wore down pretty good, so some year you're gonna have to change out discs.
This is the one where we're going down the shoulders and pulling.
And
back in.
it's got wheels underneath it to pick up so they can turn around and such. Yep. It's what's disced in the materials today. And what they're putting in is an enzyme treatment today that stabilizes the roads.
to the cost to replace the disc, if you said there weren't.
It's about $70 per disc.
How many discs are on it?
There's quite a few discs, yeah.
Yeah, there's.
So if you bought it, okay, so a used one is $5,000, but you said they run anywhere from 5,000 to 6,000?
If you're going buying used ones are 5,000 to 6,000.
Oh, okay, what are new ones?
35, 40,000 probably. I haven't bought a disc, but you know what ag discs are, and these are heavier than the ag discs.
So the blades, how long do you think you're gonna get by? Another year, 2 years? How long?
Let's put it like this, they're working good for us right now, Clayton. And if somebody would say, hey, give me, like we did this summer, 4 or 5 years, probably no issues.
How about the bearings? They may just.
Well, then once you change the disc, you're gonna want to change bearings too.
Estimated lifetime for discs is about 3 to 5 years.
Mm,
I'm assuming that would be.
I'm saying that's what we could get more out of what we're doing right now. It isn't something we have to change the discs now. They were worn out like this when we started using it.
Is this a trailer tongue type or how, what is this?
It is, yeah, it's got wheels underneath it, so it's, think of the old 14-foot tandems, only this isn't 14 foot. It's built a lot heavier than that, but it's got wheels underneath it.
So it's a pull type.
It's a pull type. I want to call it a Rome disc, but it's not, that's not the brand it is.
Now, does hydraulic cylinder and hoses come with it?
Yes,
Or how good a shape are they in?
they work for this summer. It's an old disc. But that's what you buy when you go to the auctions for 5,000-6,000.
Yeah, because I mean, what they're used to the 3 to 5 years, it was equal to 1,825 days in a 24/7 mode, or 43,800 hours. Do you think you're gonna put that much on it?
No. I'm saying at our use like this, even with the worn out, hey, you could 3, 4, 5 years run it like this, no issues.
So we're gonna use it on this shouldering.
No, what we're using on is base stabilization, Clayton. So
We used shouldering bust.
it's probably too big for that.
Too big for the windrowing,
Yes, it's too big for that.
and we already got that addressed.
Yeah, we've got that addressed for the front of the motor grader, yeah. This is, if you're trying to mix some chemicals, whether it's Portland cement or anything into your base, you can use the disc that way.
Your budget's okay with that for equipment?
Yeah, yes.
Make a motion, we approve, purchasing the rental disc.
I'll second.
First and second, all in favor?
All right.
She carries. All right, next up is EMS levy. You can skip him.
Well, since Jolene's here, you wanna come on up and give us some input? You don't? No? Okay,
I got told to just be here to listen.
listen.
so,
Okay.
Yep.
Listen and answer questions.
I do this.
Based on our meeting we had Thursday night, with the mayors and the board of supervisors and various city council members, there's a lot of concern that there's a lot of misinformation out there on what this levy would entail. And we're gonna step up and say our goal is to create a county-run ambulance service. The days of paying for a for-profit ambulance service are not sustainable. We can't do it. For what we're getting for the service and what we're paying, it just doesn't make any sense. And I think our citizens would be much happier if we had county control on how we proceed. Where we could have 2 full-time ambulances based at the hospital to handle that huge portion of the county. And that was pretty much the consensus of the meeting.
I did reach out to, the mayor of Fairbank, who, I mean, I would like to take credit for this vision statement, but it came out of his mouth, so I reached out to him, had him put it in writing. Jason did a really good job with it. He said the vision of the Buchanan County Supervisors is to create a county-operated ambulance service and EMS network, which focuses primarily on emergency response and 24/7 availability of emergency care while enhancing existing municipal ambulances and EMR services currently operating in the county. So that's still including your Jessup, your Fairbank, your Lamont, Stanley, Brandon,
First responders.
all the Winthrop, all the first responders. So I thought he did a really good job with that, and kudos to him.
We've been hesitant to say that we're going to do that, but from the meeting, the consensus was that's the way we need to go. So hopefully we can get all that pulled together, but the first thing is we got to get this vote to pass and get the information out there.
The word vision and goal. Can that be said that's 2 words of the same meaning?
You have a goal, you have a vision, and then you have a mission statement.
I just want to be real careful here. I don't want to say it's definitely positively gonna go this route and happen. Because after we start putting the business plan together, I mean, to me, this is a good idea. This would be the best way for us to move forward, to have a county-run ambulance service and not a for-profit one, because it's not been working out with, we had one leave, another one come on, and they're not living up to our expectations. It's causing issues with the Jessup ambulance service and everything. They're not getting staffed like we requested. Jessup's having to fill in because they don't have a second crew able to go out, and so it's creating a lot of issues. But I don't want to get backed into a corner here saying absolutely 100% for sure this is what we're doing, and then to come find out after we put the business plan for something comes up that we're unable to do it. And I can't foresee anything because other counties have did this and haven't had problems with it. But I want to be very careful with saying it's definitely 100% going to happen. It's our goal, our vision to want to do that. and it's gonna be worked on. There's gonna be a business plan put together and a lot of research work on it and try and do it. And hopefully everything comes together. We can get it staffed, we can get the ambulances and equipment bought, and it'll work out. But that's kind of my idea. I don't want to put my neck out on the chopping block. And
Why, you're not running for reelection?
and actively promising something that's gonna happen when something could go wrong.
And I think that's the original hesitation that we had about just boldly saying we're gonna start our own ambulance. Because there's a lot of what ifs that are in there, but I think community support would be a lot stronger if it is a county-run ambulance service.
And I would, the commitment and goal is to work towards that. I am 100% on board with that. But
I guess that's why it says the vision.
you know what, I'm always careful if there's some ifs out there. Had politicians throughout all levels of government promise something and they can't follow through.
Well, that's why it says it's a vision. It's a vision. It's something that we're working toward.
We want to add in their vision and goal.
No, because I think then goal makes it back toward what Clayton's saying. I think Clayton doesn't like the word goal in there.
No, I do. I do like the word goal.
Okay,
Goal, vision/goal.
so it is the vision. The vision and goal of Buchanan County Supervisors is to create a county-operated ambulance service and EMS network, which focuses primarily on emergency response and 24/7 availability of emergency care while enhancing existing municipal ambulance and EMR services currently operating in the county.
Very well done.
What did it say about, does it say use of the funds to do that? Is that?
No, it doesn't say use of the funds.
That was from Jason.
Yes. That was what he rattled off in the meeting that night. Wow.
Yeah,
Yes,
does that match what Brad put out yesterday?
very similar, yes.
Good, I'm just double checking, I'm reading through it now, just to make sure the wording.
I thought he did a really fine job putting that together.
He is deferring back to the county for all his answers, but
But he's basically saying it's control and account for all things verified.
Yeah.
yeah,
So it's kind of going back to you guys.
yeah, and there's only so much we can do. 422D governs this. I mean, it's governed by state code. So those funds have to be used that way. And they can't be used on anything else but EMS.
And we found out that they allow that to be used for, if we want to get money out there to the first responders for training.
Yep, that's part of,
That's part of it.
that is part of it, and part of it is to pay for wages, because the first
First step and stipends and stuff for the people that.
Get up at 2 o'clock in the morning down in Kowalski and have to go to a car accident.
Yeah.
at the cemetery.
Yeah.
Oh, you had to go there, didn't
They did.
Jolene can vouch for this too. That AMR primarily makes a lot of money on the transfers that we do out from the hospital.
Never seen dollars, so I
Okay.
have no idea.
Okay,
I think
but it is.
I just take care of the patients. I
And
just answer the page. I've never seen dollars, so I have no idea what it is.
Yeah. And but I know it's the day I took my ambulance ride, they had 5 transfers before me. So I had to keep waiting and waiting and waiting. And every time that happens, if they don't have a second rig ready to go, guess it's got to. And hopefully you pray that you don't have a whole bunch of calls. But it sure does. And that's why I think if we could offer a county-run ambulance service where we pay the wages, the benefits, and qualify for IPERS, you're gonna have a way of attracting some really good quality people.
And I think that most of your people, a lot of you people that live in the area will stay.
I would
That'll
hope.
be the hope.
I don't have very many people that live in the area on my staff. I'm just gonna let you know that.
Yeah.
So I think I have, for full timers, I have 2 in Buchanan County.
What about part-timers? Including drivers?
We're up in Johnson, so
Is John?
so 4 maybe.
Or
Oh,
part-
I guess I got those other 2. I got maybe 6.
Okay.
Okay.
So, but a lot of those part timers don't pick up.
And that always stinks.
Yep. And AMR pays better than area did for on-call and I still don't get them.
And that's something I want to reiterate, and I think it's great that our local Buchanan County Healthcare has stated they will continue garaging, housing the ambulances and providing the quarters for the on-call people, and I think that is great that the hospital trustee staff is willing to do that. I think that's a big plus because that way we don't have to go out worrying about finding a building or building a building or something like that, and that would wind up being a major, huge expense, probably something would be out of reach.
Yeah, I mean, actually, as a county, we are ahead of some other counties because we do have a hospital and the hospital's a willing partner. So we have that,
In place already.
we already had that in place and we have a really good dispatch system. I know some counties are struggling with dispatch, having, not knowing which EMT service to call or to get that call and then, which ambulance is gonna come in from outside the county to pick them up. So I know I've heard some struggles out there and we're blessed. And
I'm okay with that wording as long as the vision, we just add that visions/goal.
Once you get that completed, could you email that to me? Thank you.
Any other further discussion on the EMS project?
find a motion for this.
Make a motion, we proceed to have, our mission statement and goals printed up.
All right, the first, second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, we are to public response,
I'm gonna be glad when
Comments.
or public.
November 5th is all gone, done. No more we're standing for everything. Donnie's got something.
I just have a question, curiosity question that just be cleared up. Right now, AMR comes out of the county budget, am I correct, and that comes out of taxes? Obviously.
Well, it doesn't really comes out of the county budget this time, so it comes out of ARPA funding.
Which is
That's what so our share of supplementing comes from is the ARPA fund money, which is gonna expire and run out. And if we continue on the way it would be, then we'd have to start taking it out of the county budget dollars.
Okay, which then would come out of taxes.
The hospital, city administration, board of supervisors, and supplement.
Yeah, it's about $500,000.
Okay. Okay, for 3. So would funds then that, this levy that is hopefully gonna pass, would that then cover everything? Let's say this all comes together and the ambulance service is gone, the private one. Is there money then that would be gone also, that would not come out of taxes anymore, that would, I'm looking for an effect that, that would have on people's pocketbook.
It would not affect your current taxes because there's nothing coming out of your current taxes to pay for this.
Right.
It will affect future taxes because of that new levy that's gonna be in place.
Right, but would there also be then, a new tax that would come on, or would
Just so just the levy.
just the levy, but what about AMR if they are gone? So there's no effect there. If AMR is gone and the levy comes on, there is no effect other than the levy itself. There's nothing that would offset that.
Right. What we would do, we would borrow against the future revenue stream, to get the ambulance up and running and then pay for that out of the EMS money,
Pay it back.
out of that levy, pay that back over a period of time, within however long, 5-7 years, then you get the bond paid off. And hopefully at some point in time, we would be able to decrease this tax a little bit. I mean, that's the ultimate goal, is to take it, have it as self-sustaining as possible.
The initial start,
Ambulance service, if that would offset some of that levy, but that's not what we have.
No.
I just needed to get it.
We probably need to have Maggie come in at some point in time.
Please, after November.
yeah.
And hopefully, when you're staging this repayment plan, you want to make sure that before you get the bonding repaid, you're not, in that time frame, you're not having to replace an ambulance already or something like
Yeah,
that.
that's supposed to be in the budget. I mean, it's called having a budget. You have this much money is set aside every year toward an ambulance, this much money set aside for future equipment replacement, and I mean,
But
that's
there will
part of the
be,
ambulance budget.
this required business plan and everything else, so. There's business plans out there on this that we can use for a guideline, a template and stuff, and
I think.
do any
Christine-
customizing that we have to do on it.
Yeah, I think you're,
Several of them.
yeah.
So far, I haven't heard, when I do meet and talk to the other county supervisors, like when we're in conference or something like that, nobody's has came out and said they regretted going with how we run an ambulance service.
I can't imagine that they would. To me, it just felt like a logical plan.
We have a couple larger counties, like Johnson County and Scott County, that they run their own ambulance service. They didn't have to do this without a levy, but they have the population base to do that. And they also have the hospital base to do that. We unfortunately, we're small enough, we don't have those population bases, or that, we just don't have it. And we probably never will, because we just don't have the people.
I know Cassuth County, which is the largest county in Iowa, because it's 2 counties put together, has to have 2 satellites for their ambulance bases because the county's so big. And they have struggled trying to keep them staffed. Part of that's, they have a very small population base up there. And then obvious need for first responders all across the nation, so.
Yeah. Actually, I worked with Buchanan or Palo Alto County on their ambulance service when I was there. So I was an EMT at that point in time too. But the continuing education requirements on that are significant too, so.
And that's where we think we can really benefit the ambulance service by providing stipends and
Continue,
covering these ongoing recertifications they have to do.
If I remember right, one of the talking points was actually that the EMS association would be able to put like some trainings in place themselves. And, if you can get a certified trainer on staff, then you can do the trainings, and then you can do it when more people are available instead of less.
The area fire departments have had real good success with their ongoing trainings that they're doing, and we need to mirror something like that for the EMS.
They get money from townships to do that.
They're doing more global, more countywide trainings now, do include our ambulance services.
Do we have any other public comments?
Question, for example, like down in the Brandon area, we have first responders. So if there's a call and all the ambulances out of Independence are busy, do you still call, like now, sometimes we get North Benton from Benton will come. Does that affect that because you're a county EMS?
That does not change.
No,
That
that's
doesn't
a mutual aid agreement.
Okay, so
If
those,
you're currently under Benton territory, you'll stay under.
Okay, but I mean, there, like I said, there was, you know, Jessup has come down before with ambulance.
It only lives north doesn't commit a crew.
Yeah, typically it's
They have to do
Jessup.
as everybody else do.
They're private.
Yes. Yes, they are private. They're private, right? I believe they are.
I think they are.
Yeah, I believe they are. Sorry. Thought I don't check, but I'm pretty sure they are.
Another question I have, and this is different topic, right? This is still open, we can ask questions, whatever. With Clayton leaving and there's gonna be an election, Shad is left already, and I know there's two candidates here, for the Board of Supervisors. Has there been any opportunistic companies, whether it's solar, wind, the pipeline has been contacting these people? Because, you know, as opportunists, people see a gap and they want to get in there, because I know Floyd County has one vote, that's this Wednesday.
We're not gonna discuss any election related
Yeah.
materials here. Supervisor meeting, totally,
I think that would be a
Nope.
question that
not going there.
you're asking through the two candidates, if they've had any contact. Us as sitting, you know,
But if you-
I'm staying neutral on this whole thing, because whoever gets elected, I might come here someday as a citizen and wanna talk to them about an issue or something like that, so. I'm staying
He's got
neutral,
words.
but I will say that I'm glad that we got two individuals that, I think that are qualified for the job.
We're just talking about the election in here. No, Clayton,
Just glad that we had.
no,
Step up.
no election related stuff in boardroom at all.
Okay,
Done.
this isn't election related, but have you been approached with any of these companies?
No,
I have not.
I am, one thing for another comment, there was a story write-up about this, mishap with the turbines that happened, with the destruction and devastation that happened out in this private property in the fields and stuff like that. It's created a lot of hardship and they don't know how they're gonna deal with it. Nothing's been determined that, and they don't even know what's gonna happen with the corn that's coming out of these fields and stuff like that, so. It's a major problem, and I do know in the paper that, it was mentioned that maybe there's a possibility of starting up some of these closed down nuclear plants. And Palo was one of them that was listed that they're gonna investigate and restarting up, so.
that would be good. All right, anything else for the good of the cause?
Afraid to say anything.
As long as it's not election related, you can say it. We can't have politics in our boardroom.
I just want to let you know too, that when you were talking about the asbestos in the cornfield, I got a picture, I'm not sure where the,
Fiberglass.
fiberglass, excuse, what did I say?
Asbestos,
Asbestos.
Okay, fiberglass.
it's almost as deadly.
And, it was in the cornfield and there isn't any elevator that'll buy the corn and they can't use that corn to feed their animals. And how many years is that gonna take place? So just kind of,
Well, the other part of that is, what I always think is, what about the deer that are wandering by and they're ingesting it, you know, or your rabbits, or, you know, I mean, I understand that they're just animals. but
Birds
they're
and
still-
wildlife go out there and eat that corn.
It's still ecologically,
can they even combine that corn with the machinery? Or does that?
Well, they're talking about, they're probably gonna have to take it all to a landfill. You can imagine a kind of a landfill cost, that's gonna, be,
so you have to combine it and then take
then,
it to
then
land
haul it to a landfill.
and then clean their equipment really good.
Well, plus all that fiberglass is in the soil too.
There, yeah.
But I mean, with the combine itself, would that ruin the combine? What, can it work properly with that material coming in there? Is
And
that-
not only that, you know, if they're near waterways and stuff, you get rainfall and stuff like that, is this stuff gonna work its way to the streams? There's a lot of environmental issues out there and stuff like that. I you know, everybody knows when we was working on this, I was concerned about landowner rights and everything and revenues and stuff like that, but some of this stuff has happened after the fact and I'm, so I guess I'm publicly saying I'm glad the way things went, the way it happened.
Thank you for saying that.
I think you brought samples of the material in, the waste. And you're not sure how you can process something like that. I sent it off to Iowa State for them to look at it too, Dr. Jalan.
Well, then they were talking about the bases that they were talking about blowing them up. So that's gonna.
So there's
distribute
a,
that.
company actually right now, cause I live in Masonville. We have a great big elevator, empty building. There's a company out of New York that is actually there and they brought in turbines in there, breaking them up, crushing them down.
Really?
Yep, and then they haul those crushed, they put them into a semi, they get them down to smaller pieces. Then they haul them from that semi to Fairfax. There's a place in Fairfax that grinds it up again. And then, to even finer, and then they're gonna be using that, the way it sounds, in concrete cement, I don't know this thing, but into that as something.
I had heard about that place in Fairfax, yeah.
So, yeah, it's broke down at the moment, so everything's just staying in the building, but, yeah, and they just got the whole building, and it sounds like they're planning on making it a pretty permanent thing of doing that there. So, cause we told them as a fire department, they need to start getting their own water. I'm tired of trucking water every 3 days. So, cause we truck water over to them to keep some of the dust down, and I told them they needed to do something different.
They use carbon fibers in rebar, so there's a carbon fiber rebar out there and such. Now, that was virgin materials always. But they were always extremely strong, but extremely expensive.
Jolene, how many people work at that processing facility then? You know?
I think my husband said they're up to 4.
Okay,
Cause or 4, yeah, cause I think there's the 2, that's the dad and the son from New York. And then I think they have 2 employees from around here that are helping. So I think there's a total of 4. And then they have like 3 semis, cause the first batch of wind turbines came from like 80 miles down south somewhere. And they trucked them all up here. They went through that batch and now they've got, I thought Joel said like around 300 some more turbines that are all supposed to be brought in and stuff before the end of the year, and then they have to process all them. So.
Here's a concern. Concrete, is toxic enough the way it is. It affects some people, the dust. And fiberglass and all the stuff these turbines are made of, it has a lot of toxicity to it. So what are we gonna be putting out for people? That's a big worry. It's just gonna be another cancer causing thing.
Cement poisoning, as you stated, is a real thing, but that's when it's green.
But even when it's dust, when it's dry and you're pounding and that type of thing, so
Yeah.
that's bad. I mean, people get rashes, people get lung disease, it's nasty, and this is only gonna make it worse. But
You have anything else for the good of the cause?
that's sure, it's nice to.
make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Got a first and second, all in favor?
I
I didn't mean to be mean to you, I just can't have politics of the board.
hit yourself.
No, I knew exactly what your cell phone was.
This has got a track.